Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about how to set up a meme project. I'm not going through all the front-end and back-end database stuff. I'm only going through the software installation and also the your project structure, folder structure. Okay, so this is a very short video. So first you want to install software, Node.js and MongoDB based on your operating system. It should be fairly simple. So next step, you want to install obviously Git for version control, this Visual Studio Code, your IDE, and your Postman for testing, API services, and possibly other tools. Yeah, install these. So next step, you want to install these guys, global packages, using this Node Package Manager, NPM. So you want to install Angular CLI because this saves you tons of time to develop Angular apps. You want to install this Express. Obviously, it's the server, right? Express Generator allows you to build up Express project with just a single line of code. All the boilerplate code will be created for you. So this is very convenient. It's optional. You don't have to use it. There's Mongoose. This is absolutely you need it. This is for schema management for the MongoDB. It's very important. Yeah, and the NodeMon's optional. This allows you to, while you're making live modifications on your server will automatically restart whenever you save. So save you a little bit of typing, yeah, but it's optional. So Express Generator is optional, NodeMon's optional. So the next thing you want to install the stuff on your backend. So first you want to create a project folder. So this project folder should be the root folder of your backend, and your front end should be a subfolder under this backend root folder. The reasons that you want to version control both your front end and backend. You don't want to have two separate version control Git repositories. That does not make any sense. So here you create Express using the Express generator to create a project. No Vue because you're going to use Angular. You're not going to use any Vue library. And Git, so to create a git ignore file. Then you will cd into that project name and install a bunch of stuff. So install the empty packages, install calls for cross-origin resource sharing. So if you want to make API calls to other services, or you want to like request from a different domain to grab data from you, you should use this one. If you want to upload files, use Express File Uploader. Mongoose, as I mentioned, so schema management. Socket.io is for real-time communication, like chatting, or one person deletes a file, delete a record, another person will receive the update right away. So this is real-time communication. Is very important. Socket.io, and also the body parser, yeah, parsing incoming requests. So install these 6 guys, and then you can, this is optional, you can create another command called dev start. So npm run dev start, so you can print out the debug code in your terminal, which maybe, yeah, you'll print out some messages in the console that can help you debug stuff. So this is optional. Now, you want to create your front end. As I mentioned, you want to version control both back end and front end. So you want to put your Angular project under a folder, under your backend folder, root folder. So you create a new folder called client, or whatever you want to call front end or client or whatever. And you want to skip Git, because without this skip Git, ng-new will create a Git repository, which is not what you want. You want to use a single Git repository to version control both your backend and front end, so they're dovetailed. You want to take a snapshot of both of them. Make sure they work together, yeah. Okay, now you add a material library if you plan to use the Angular material as your, as your, for cosmetics, yeah. And if you plan to save files to your hard drive, you should use file saver. So this allows you to download files from a server. And this Socket.io client, that matches the Socket.io. So on the back end, you install Socket.io. On the front end, you install this Socket.io client. Yep, then you can launch the front end. Okay, next step is initialize your Git repository. As I mentioned, you want version control to be at the root level. You want to version control both your back end and front end. So you should cd to your root folder. Assume you're in the front end, you should cd back into your back end folder, root folder, and you can use whatever text edit file to edit this git ignore. So where does this git ignore come from? It comes from this guy. with the git option, it will create a git ignore file for you. So you want edit the git ignore to ignore git ignore itself. Yeah, add a new line and type this .git ignore so we can changes to the git ignore is ignored. So you don't version control this git ignore file. Then you can initialize your git repository, add all the files except those being ignored, and you can just make an initial commit because the project setup was done. So that's pretty much it, and I think I will just give you one example to show you the project setup, what it looks like. Here you can see we have let's close these things, we don't need this guy. The root folder, you have client folder is the front end, Angular front end, and I use the option to not create a git repository, so there's no git ignore file under this folder. And here binary you have this is a root folder with backend, you have this git ignore, and you have added this last line, you added git ignore, so you ignore this changes made to this file itself. That's basically your setup. I think it's very straightforward.